Many people in online journalism and blogs, they contend that their level is just as good as the mainstream. The mainstream tends to look down on non-print broadcast reporting.
Sure.
Are the broadcast reporters above the online reporters somehow?
No, the broadcast reporters are more often than not finding themselves unemployed and having to find the next move. What I'm finding, you asked a good couple of questions in there. One of them is the difference in quality. And so first off, I don't always blanket the people who create blogs and online media as being journalists. They could be reporters, but people who received a journalism degree to me are journalists. So I do make that distinction on purpose because I think that some people can learn or pick up enough about reportage to do a good job. What people might not have are all the extra skills it takes to really tease out good quality content and good quality value information. What the online space people have that the mainstream doesn't have is we don't have that separation of editorial and advertising. We have the requirement to run the whole nature of the business. And so we've learned some ways to make money and to make business happen that sometimes push some lines that weren't ever pushed in journalism. However, it's also how we were able to fund. It was also how we were able to come up with new methods. Now, I think that where the challenge can be is that the online people maybe don't understand certain parts of ethics codes. If they understand how a review is supposed to work, I was sent this device, et cetera, et cetera. If they understand how to disclose, we're fine. If they don't, well, then we don't really know what kind of product we're consuming. Now, most of the studies that I've read about perception of journalism, especially in younger people, are showing that media training and media understanding and the awareness of what constitutes quality media reportage is not as good as it has ever been. So we don't really understand how to discern what's real or not in what we consume. And 74% of people think that if they saw it on the internet, it must be real.
What do you think about the notion of media objectivity in mainstream media reporting just by virtue of the fact that it's a mainstream or outlet?
That's a really good question. I mean, there's two things to objectivity. I mean, the pressure in mainstream media is you have to buy me a story that gives me a lot more attention than it used to be. It used to be okay to go tell the news that was the news. With the advent of 24-hour news cycle, with the advent of very fast-paced blog-style coverage, now it's get me the story and get it to me on time. That means that stories that weren't really quality enough to be a story are now stories. And that means that the entertainment that used to be back 6 sections in a newspaper is sinking towards the front. And especially in the online space where we are measuring by clicks, we are starting to think that Lady Gaga and Miley Cyrus are far more important than a new pope and then what's gone on in Utah with same-sex marriage. There's a lot going on that by nature measurement is an issue.
Do you feel that the blogosphere has a sense of responsibility for media ethics and professionalism?
I don't know that the blogosphere thinks they have a responsibility for that, but I would say that it's one of those things that if you haven't been trained to understand, or you don't even, people don't quite always understand where the lines are with ethics, so it's not even that they're necessarily choosing to take an action that might be considered unethical. They're not even aware that there's a line there.